All right, what's going on, everyone? My name's Ajwritescrypto. Thanks for being here. We have a show planned. First of all, hold on a second. Finally, I think it's really important to illustrate that Altcoin Daily did a really good tweet about what happened today. And what happened today is that with the 3 bills passing, Trump still has to sign them, but we know he will. This is not the finish line. This is the beginning. We are finally getting, a regulatory framework, a blueprint, a foundation where we can build the crypto world we have all foreseen for years. I know most of you have been here for years. You've waited through the bear markets. You waited through 22. You patiently waited, and you deserve this. We all deserve this. And it goes to show that all the naysayers, all the doubters, everyone in your family that was like, oh, it's never going to work, they were all wrong. They were all wrong. And I am just elated that the Genesis Act and the Anti-CBDC, the clarity, all of it worked out. It's all coming around. And really what we should be most excited about is, kind of the details, some of the fine print in the main bill that passed about the regulatory, the definition between what constitutes a security and what constitutes a commodity. And most blockchains pride themselves off of what? Decentralization. And things that can prove decentralization will be be under the control of the CFTC, which is much better than being under the SEC. So guys, I do want to go over a little bit of what this means, just so everyone's on the same page. And then we want to talk about, why I think altcoins are just getting started in terms of in 2025, we're really starting to see the push back towards December. What's going to really continue that push? I mean, some coins are continuing now. XRP, for instance, we talked about an alarm for XRP yesterday at 310. Well, go look at the price of XRP now and tell me if how well that trade would have worked if you went from the 310 long alarm that I gave you on the show literally yesterday. So we, obviously got a handful of charts to go over. I actually have a handful of charts written down on my little note sheet here that we didn't get to go over yesterday. I want to talk about the portfolio builds. I also wanted to talk to you guys about Rate My Portfolio is going to come back. We will do, we'll do it on the live stream every now and then, but really I kind of want to make it a normal show that you guys watch, once every other week. That is like a forever segment on this channel. And for anyone out there, I am talking to a graphics guy. For anyone out there who has, a physical representation, not a physical, but a pie chart representation of your portfolio, and you would like it to be featured on Rate My Portfolio, send it in an email to ajalphagroup@gmail.com. And that also is the same email to use for the Telegram. The Telegram group is absolutely eating right now. I put a bunch of setups in there yesterday, the day before that, and every setup has been working. I do tend to take breaks sometimes with the group. If we're going sideways for, 3 weeks, I'm not going to post just to force post. But when I take a break and come back, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that now is that obviously we are eating. And obviously I had to take a break. I had a baby. She's 6 weeks old. That's going better. And we're kind of finding a routine here. And as you can see, we've had a lot more content, had a lot more live streams. We're getting back into the groove of things. And great timing for everything to happen. It's divine. So you guys rock. Thank you for being here. Got almost 100 people on YouTube, more than that on Twitter. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member. We're not doing a normal live stream tomorrow. We're doing a members only live stream tomorrow. Haven't figured out the time yet. I'll let you know in the Telegram group. But basically what a members only live stream is we go over all of the Telegram setups that I gave the group the week before, and we go over them and say, all right, what worked, what didn't work, where can we improve, and what can we do moving forward, and what new trades am I looking at, as we head into the weekend. So definitely got a lot to go over today. You guys are awesome. I obviously have a handful of stories pulled up about all the bills that have been passed, how historic this is, a couple other things. Ethereum has really been one that, I don't know if I want to say like I would spot buy Ethereum. I think my personal ETH exposure is through my apes. where, you know, ETH goes up, apes go up. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I do want to look at the Ethereum chart, have a nice look at the Ethereum chart during the show to kind of illustrate the trading opportunity in terms of leverage trading, specifically with Ethereum. That's something I want to get into on the show as well. Really quick here, I have so many tabs on my computer open. It is sometimes difficult for me to find the correct tab here. All right, but I did just do a tweet today about the Tesla giveaway. And guys, we are giving away a brand new Tesla Model 3 to someone in the community, okay? Someone in the community can either win the Tesla Model 3 or they can accept the value of the vehicle, which is $42,490, okay? Also, 15 people will win $100 in VeChain, and 10 people will win an exclusive VeChain merch pack that you can't buy. You can't buy this merch. You can only get it through here. So 26 winners altogether for the Tesla Model 3 giveaway. And one of those 26 winners is going to receive $42,490 or the Tesla Model 3, whichever you would like. I did just do a tweet today. We are giving away that amount of money, $42,490 in 23 days. And guys, just to put it in perspective, that's 12.45 Ethereum. That's 245 Solana. That's 1.67 million VeChain. It's also the value of a brand new Tesla Model 3. Like I said, you can accept the car or the crypto, whatever you want if you win. And guys, it's always the people that say, oh, I never win giveaways. That's normally the people who win giveaways. That's every time I've done thousands and thousands of dollars worth of crypto giveaways. Every time I say, hey, you won, they say, oh my God, I've never won anything in my life. So if you're the one saying, oh, I'm not going to sign up because I never win, you're the person that needs to sign up. I mean that. I really do. And I would love, you know, the last person that won, that we're doing 4 Tesla giveaways this year. This is the second of the 4. The first one was someone from Nigeria. That's cool. They became a member of the Grogger community through the giveaway. And that's what the point of the giveaway is for. And to learn about VeChain and to be, you know, to become a part of the VFam as well. But like, I would like to see a community member win this next giveaway. I would love to see, you know, a Crypto Carter or SWFL or, you know, somebody in that's been here, one of the Groggers. That's who I want to see this giveaway. So you guys have to sign up to win. You got to play to win, baby. You got to play to win. So I do want to kind of go over everything, what's going on here with the bills that got passed. I mean, this is historic shit. Like, generally, I'm more of a TA guy. I'm more of a trade guy, make money guy, Polymarket bet, stuff like that. I've been kind of teeter-tottering with doing more or less news when I do my shows. But when historic is the first word in the article, you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. A historic bill. We got passed 3 of them, actually. But the main one, the Genius Act, is passed in the House with strong bipartisan support. Trump hasn't signed it yet, but we all know he's going to. I was there physically on my birthday at Bitcoin conference when he said America is going to be the crypto capital, crypto and AI capital of the world. And he's going to stand by that. He's going to stand by that for sure. So the House passed, let me scroll in on this, the Stablecoin Focus Genius Act with overwhelming bipartisan support, sending the bill to President Trump's desk for signature. The Clarity Act, a crypto market structure bill, also performed much better than expected, passing the House handily with 78 Democratic votes. That's big. 78 Democratic votes. Amazing. Industry leaders have hailed the success of the accumulation of Crypto Week, which only hours prior have been derailed. There was a preliminary vote that went the wrong way, ended up not really mattering much. But there was some hums and haws along the way. And of course, you know, we had old Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, you know, going on and on about, you know, how crypto could just blow up the economy. She doesn't have her puppet Gary Gensler anymore to make moves for her, so she has to go on your MSNBC and bitch about it there. But I did do a tweet about Elizabeth Warren, and I said, with all due respect, and from Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, and I mean with all due respect, fuck off. Fuck off. And I hope she does just do that. She can fuck directly off. And I like to keep this channel family friendly. I do know that some younger people watch my channel. But I have kind of accepted as I've grown as a YouTuber that I'm just going to be like authentically AJ and not like the AJ I want you guys to see, but I'm just going to be the AJ that I am. And every now and then you just got to fucking say fuck off. You know what I mean? It's not like that big of a deal. It's really not. You can demonetize me all you want. I got plenty of money. It's cool. All right. But let's continue into the show here. I do kind of want to, I did run through ChatGPT, you know, to give me a quick rundown of the bill, which is the Genius Bill, is short for Guiding the Evolution of the Nation's Innovation in Emerging and Secure Systems. That's like, you know, the acronym for the bill. So basically, it's a comprehensive crypto stablecoin proposal introduced by Cynthia Lummis and Christian Gillibrand. And I'm going to give you a breakdown of what it actually means for you guys. Okay. Cynthia Lummis talked about this bill. Bitcoin, the year I met Mir. So the year before Donald Trump spoke, Bitcoin 23. In 2023, Lummis was on the stage talking about how the first thing that needs to happen is the stablecoin bill. Nothing's going to happen in crypto regulation before the stablecoin bill, and that it was supposed to happen way sooner. I was going like this on my watch. When's the stablecoin bill coming? And it took a while. It took longer than I thought. But nevertheless, Lummis back in 2023 was true to her word years later and figured it out. So what does it do? Let's actually talk about what does this bill do? It defines the regulatory parameter. It clarifies what counts as a commodity regulated by the CFTC and what counts as a security, obviously regulated by the SEC. Most crypto tokens, especially decentralized or sufficiently decentralized, ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, would fall under the CFTC's oversight. More centralized projects or those with ongoing profit promises would be classified as security. So it is kind of setting that up, which is, you know, some cryptos will be here, some cryptos will be there. Most cryptos pride themselves over making an argument on why they are decentralized. Cryptos like VeChain, cryptos like Algorand, Cardano, etc. They all have a strong case for decentralization, and they've done things along the way to be more decentralized. Like Algorand moving away from overlay nodes, stuff like that. So I think that for the most part, we're not going to have a problem running into the SEC because of them saying most crypto tokens are decentralized. Decentralization equals CFTC. That's really all you would need to know. All right, stablecoin framework establishes clear rules for stablecoin issuers, including registration requirements for both banks and non-banks. Reserves must be 100% backed by cash or cash equivalents. Thank God, right? I mean, and really, this is something that people used to say, oh, well, you know, Tether's going down. Tether, you know, is backed by blah, 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 and it never did. And then they, over time, even if there was a point in time where Tether wasn't completely backed, now they definitely are. So let's not like worry about that because they are required. Reserves must be backed 100% by cash or cash equivalents. And of course, there must be a monthly disclosure of the holdings. This empowers both state and federal regulators to oversee stablecoin issuers, giving states like Wyoming a continued role. Consumer protections requires disclosures from crypto companies to ensure users understand. So users have to understand the risk, the tokenomics, and the rights that they do and don't have. This is kind of all fine print kind of stuff, but it does matter if we're going to say, if America is going to open the floodgates and say, okay, crypto people, send it. They have to get this stuff in row. I mean, that's the part of the deal. And thank God it's happening now by this administration. Look at this, July 11th. We are on the precipice of probably having the most insane crypto bull run we've ever seen, Q3, Q4 this year. We're still early. We're still early. I want you guys to really understand that. We're still early. And I do want to say this. I actually will read this to you. When I sold a bunch of my crypto in January, okay, I bought $100 of most of the coins I held at that point in time. All right. And I did that just to see, okay, if I had $100,000 in this coin, what would it be if I held it? If I had $100,000 in this coin, what would it be if I held it? And that's kind of why I did that. And it's interesting looking at this list now, because I actually use this list to decide what I'm going to buy more of, because I'm going to target the coins that haven't caught up yet. All right. So about $100 of Bitcoin that day. Now Bitcoin's worth 116. Sure, it's only 16%, but it is ahead of all the other altcoins, and that is the strength of Bitcoin. Yeah, you're going to get more gains bottom to top for the altcoins, no questions asked. But over time, Bitcoin has been a winner. I'm not going to argue that. Hedera is now at $97. Algorand's at $77. Dogecoin 56, Jasmy 53, VeChain 50, and the Graph 47. All right, so we can determine, and Algorand was down to 39 at one point when I had $100 of it that I sold. And it's kind of, I'm saying this to point out that, okay, well, Bitcoin's ahead of where I sold, and Hedera is now only $4, $3 behind. Algorand is almost there, $76, $75 now, but really now Dogecoin, Jasmy, VeChain, those three are still lagging behind. And if you look at the video that I made, the portfolio update that I made a couple days ago, go back and watch that video. Some of those alarms are still valid, by the way, from that video. I did target certain coins, and those three were on that list because of this reason. And I 100% think that all of those coins are going to catch up minimum to their December high from here. And go back and measure. How much more of a pump would you get for Doge if it went from here back to the December high? Well, what about VeChain? If you measure from here to the December high, how much would that be worth? Pretty insane gains. So I did feel the need to say that. All right, continuing here with the definition of the bill, the tax clarity introduces de minimis tax exemptions for crypto payments under $200, allowing everyday purchases with crypto without triggering a taxable event. That is awesome. And I actually just saw a tweet. A woman from White House press secretary, I believe, was talking about how they're talking about maybe doing away with Bitcoin and crypto taxes. And that would be, oh my God, that would be the best. That would be the best. It's all fun and games until you cut Uncle Sam a check for, $400,000. Okay. It's all fun and games until you just say, yeah, sure. Here's $400,000. Thanks for not arresting me. Thanks. Fuck. So let's hope that does happen. I would really much appreciate that. All right. Continuing self-regulation and innovation. The act encourages self-regulatory organization, or SROs, within the crypto space to help shape rules and best practices similar to FINRA in traditional finance, and aims to balance regulatory clarity with room for innovation. So in summary, the Genius Bill is pro-innovation, pro-regulation, and a major step towards mainstream integration of crypto and stablecoins. It gives the industry the regulatory clarity it has been begging for without being overly restrictive, both a win for consumer safety and builders. Guys, I just want to start a slow clap. Just a slow clap for Donald Trump's America. I know there's a lot of bullshit going on with Epstein and the list, and it was on the list and not on the list. And I get it. I get all that. It all sucks. I'm with you. I understand. But in terms of the promises he made for crypto, double thumbs up, smash the like button. Thank God. Thank God. I mean, would this have happened in Kamala Harris's America? Absolutely fucking no. So let's be grateful for that. So moving forward, I did ask for a quick breakdown of the clarity and the Anti-CBDC acts as well. So I'll run through these really quick. So clarity for the Payment Stablecoins Act, aka the McHenry Bill. What it does, it creates federal rules for stablecoin issuers, especially payment stablecoins like USDC and PayPal USD. Only allows issuance of payment stablecoins by banks and non-bank entities approved by state regulators and registered with the Fed. It requires, of course, 100% backing with cash or cash equivalents with no rehypothecation, clear redemption rights. You can always get your $1 back, and disclosures about the reserves and the risk and why it matters. It's a clear legal path for companies like Circle and PayPal and other stablecoin issuers, empowers state-level innovation, especially places like Wyoming and New York, while involving federal oversight as well. And it is seen as a critical infrastructure for enabling a dollar-backed digital payments globally. Status, it was passed and it's been passed. It's kind of waiting on the signature. All right. And then finally, the Anti-Surveillance State Act, aka the Tom Emmer bill. Shout out to Tom Emmer. What it does, it bans the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency to Americans, aka a CBDC. And we've all heard the horror stories of, you know, what a CBDC is, when they could use it, like, oh, here's your paycheck from last week, but you can only spend it in this county, and if you don't spend it in 28 days, it fairy dust goes away. Like, there's some scary shit you could pull off with CBDCs, and it's important that, you know, that politicians are saying that crypto between me and you, between you and your friends or family, that should be private. Just like if I pay Timmy $25 to cut my grass, that's a private transaction. No one needs to know about that. That's kind of what's happening with crypto, and that's going to continue to be the case with crypto because they're not going to make CBDCs. All right, and you know, I'm not going to go too far down into what could happen if there was a CBDC, but basically this bill, thanks to Tom Emmer, they're saying no way, we're not doing that ever. Sorry. So they can't issue a CBDC to Americans. They can't use a CBDC to track, monitor, or control personal spending, or launch any kind of CBDC without congressional approval. It protects any kind of state-controlled digital money, like similar to as in the country of China. It responds to privacy and freedom concerns by many in the crypto and libertarian communities. Supports the idea that private stablecoins like USDC are better for innovation and freedom than a Fed-run CBDC. So that is really like the most important. Like, I feel that the Genius Bill is best for crypto, but in terms of like the future of, you know, of a possible tyrannical dystopian government overthrow, the CBDC bill is actually more important for like the safety of the future of this industry. So thank goodness for that. So the too long didn't read summary. The Clarity for Stablecoins Act is the key focus is dollar-backed stablecoins, and what it does, it defines issuers, mandates reserves, and gives legal clarity for payments. The Anti-CBDC Act, the key focus is the federal digital dollar ban, and it blocks the Fed from launching a retail CBDC without Congress and protects privacy. And the Genius Bill, the key focus is full crypto regulation, and what it does, it clarifies the SEC versus CFTC roles, stablecoin rules, tax policy, and consumer rights. And that is a summary of the three bills that worked out somehow, some way during what they're calling Crypto Week. So that's amazing. Smash the like button if you're bullish on the future of crypto in America. I'm like beside myself that I'm standing here right now reading these words to you, and it's all real and legit. There was a point working at Hit Network in Joe Biden's America where I didn't think we'd get here. There was a doubt inside of me that was like, dude, what happens if like crypto goes away? Like, what if they say, what if they like, you know, do some crazy shit? Like, you know, we had Garrett Gensler, Biden, Operation Choke Point 2.0, Pocahontas. Like, there was a lot of politicians that were fucking crypto up big time. And I'm just kind of thank God that this is all working out and we all get to reap the benefits of this. I mean, this is groundbreaking shit. It really is. And I'm bullish, man. Make sure you smash like, subscribe to the channel. All right, I am going to check in with the chat here. It's been a minute, been rambling about the bills that got passed. But hey, like I said, I don't always go too far into the news. I like to focus on what makes people money. But this is really making us so much money. This is like $1 million, multi-billion, trillion. It's going to make us all a lot of money. Okay. I'm going to check in with the chat here. Shout out to Chauncey Peppertooth, one of my favorite mods, who took a break. He said, "What's up, squad? Sorry I've been out." He's been lost in the trenches. Hey, Chauncey, I'm glad you found our way back to our trench. Stay in our trench. You are one of my favorite mods, bro. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Love Sound says, "Good morning, AJ from Malta. Thank you for these videos." Hey, thanks for joining us. That's really crazy. I don't even, with zero disrespect, I don't know if I could point to that on a map. If there was an unmarked globe, I don't know if I could point to that country. I might have to look up where that is. But thank you for being here regardless. I think that's very cool of you. Bit for Fun says, led to an option for paying future taxes in crypto. I'm not against that. I mean, if they're going to allow us to eventually, you know, have our retirement funds in crypto, or, you know, pay for houses in crypto, I think what they're leading towards here, especially when you consider like how many, the paperwork required to think about all I'm losing the word right now, but XRP has all of these bills where, oh, we can transfer crypto here in this state or this country and this country, and all of the paperwork required to execute a functional global cross-border payment system. I think we're getting to a point where very shortly, and probably what I mean the next 5 years, we will probably be able to use crypto to buy just about anything. And the functionality of that would increase the accessibility of that. And if you think that back in 2021, while we still had the grim reaper of regulation holding a scythe behind us, and we became the $4 trillion industry before the bear market, and now we're roughly a $4 trillion industry now with positive regulation. Imagine what's going to happen when we can use our crypto anywhere, and anyone can get crypto anywhere, and it's super accessible, and you can use it to buy anything. It's going to be like a $50 trillion, $100 trillion industry. Like, for real. Like, if it got to 4 in 21 with all the regulatory headache, imagine what it's going to do 5-10 years from now, being okay, getting the green light from the government. I mean, hell yeah, man. It's really big. It's really big. Yeah, bit for fun, for sure. Tim Navarro, just getting into this. I appreciate your analysis. Thanks. Hey, man, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Turns out July will be bullish after all, which is true, Mickey Gill. We did kind of talk about that in the past. I think in the past 8 years, every time there's a red June, there's been a green July, and every time there's a green June, there's been a red July. Well, this June was green, but only 2%. So this will break that trend, as long as we close. We still have to close green. Okay, there's still plenty of time left. We are in crypto. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just joking. But the U.S. government says only 3 mature blockchains are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. Is this correct or a rumor? I would have to say that's a rumor. I didn't see that anywhere. And for them to intentionally leave out XRP is just kind of a dick move, to be honest. So I'm not. Yeah, I don't think so. Very, very cool. Broke point 2.0. That's really funny. Jordan Brewer says, thank you, AJ, for all the education. I've been loading up in the bear market, riding the last bull down. Got 100K packed, ready for this bull run. Hell yeah, man. Best of luck. 100K. Dude, if you could start with 100K right now, you're going to do pretty good, dude. You're going to do pretty good. Maybe email me your portfolio breakdown. Maybe I'll give it a grade when we get that segment back up and running. Okay, yeah, we're pretty caught up on the chat. You guys are awesome. Make sure you smash the like button. Let me do a quick like check here on YouTube, see where we are so far. We are currently at 58 likes. Cool. Thanks for, that's not bad, but let's get to 100 by the end of the show. We do have over 100 people watching the show with only 58 likes. So half of you haven't clicked the like button yet. Please do that. It's something really simple you can do that makes a big difference for this channel and for people finding the channel so we can learn about crypto and make as much money as possible. Okay, let's go. Couple stories I do want to talk about here. I want to talk about Ethereum. BlackRock. I love starting a story saying the word BlackRock. NASDAQ seek SEC approval to add staking to BlackRock Spot Ether ETF. But guys, read between the lines here. And the functionality of what crypto is supposed to do, what crypto does. And to give that functionality to the ETF is just going to make more and more and more money. Here's the thing. Here's what people don't understand. The Bitcoin ETF that finally got approved. I remember what room I was in Marietta, Georgia, when the Bitcoin Spot ETF got approved. And I don't think people understand how much of a test run that was for the rest of crypto. Because, like, if people didn't make a shitload of money with the Bitcoin ETF, none of this would be happening right now. They used the Bitcoin ETF. They said, oh man, damn, we just killed it. We just made so much money. And they used that as like the measuring tape on, okay, well, we made this much with Bitcoin. Let's see what we can do with Ethereum. Okay, let's see what we can do with Solana. Let's see what we can do with XRP. Let's see what we can do with Cardano. And that's why we talked literally a couple days ago about the approval odds for the Litecoin ETF, the Hedera ETF, the Pengu ETF. You get an ETF. You get an ETF. This is going to happen. And now We're talking BlackRock and NASDAQ are seeking the SEC's approval to allow crypto functionality to be integrated into the ETFs. Do you know how much money everyone's going to make here? And I think that's the part people miss when you are talking about the integration, the overlay of TradFi into crypto, into DeFi. They would not be chasing this if they didn't know already, have worked the numbers out on projections and shit, how much they'd make in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And why do you think BlackRock, motherfucking BlackRock, is pushing to get staking approved into their ETFs? This is a much bigger story than people might think upon first glance. I am telling you, this gets a green light. It sets a standard. It sets a standard for other proof of stake companies once they get an ETF to allow staking in their ETFs. Think about that. It's basically saying, okay, well, if you're proof of stake and you get an ETF, you can also enable that functionality into the ETFs. Guys, that's big. It's not just about whether or not Ethereum gets it. It's about the standard that is set, just like how I said, when Bitcoin set the standard on the money they can make with ETFs, that result gave the green light for Ethereum and is now giving the green light for the ETF, for all their altcoins. The floodgates, the Pandora's box was opened. But now they're looking for the green light to add that functionality. And that is going to set a standard for the next. You see my point? This is a very, very big story. It's hard to not be bullish on ETH right now. It is really hard to not be bullish on ETH, especially SharpLink buys another over 20,000 Ethereum as the ETH price surges. SharpLink Gaming boosted its treasury by adding over 20,000 ETH, which is about $68 million on Wednesday. So yesterday they did this, spent $68 million buying Ethereum. That's insane. Their holdings have surged past the Ethereum's foundations. That's insane. Ethereum has climbed more than 16% in 5 days to trade around over 3,400, driven by spot ETF inflows topping $2.27 billion this month. And here's the look on chain. SharpLink and SharpLink Gaming brought another $68 million in the past 5 hours. In the past 8 days, they've accumulated, $343 million. So really, the $68 million, that's great. But in the past 8 days, they bought over almost $350 million worth of Ethereum. Do you guys think that SharpLink spending this much money on Ethereum, guys, they bought the ETH above $3,000. Do you think they're just trying to catch 10% and fuck off? Are they buying $350 million worth of Ethereum to scalp 6%? No, they see the writing on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I understand the Bitcoin maximalist. I understand where you stand. I get it. I think people get me wrong sometimes when I say you're talking to someone with a $20,000 portfolio and they have 40% Bitcoin. I tell them, hey, you're messing up. Don't do that. The Bitcoiners get me wrong. You have to tell yourself, if I'm going to hold Bitcoin, this is a generational play. If you have a small portfolio, holding Bitcoin isn't like you're going to 5x this cycle. Bitcoin won't 5x this cycle. Do I think Bitcoin could get to $250,000 top of this bull run? That's about right. I think if it goes on under 200 grand, if it doesn't get to 200 grand, I would kind of be upset given all the road that has been paved for crypto adoption from here. I know I watched the Altcoin daily video yesterday saying there was 3 analysts. One analyst said 135, one analyst said 150, and one analyst, the guy from CoinDesk or Coin Bureau, said 200 grand. And I agree with the 200 grand theory. I think it could go more than 200,000. But you got to think that that's not even a double up from right here. Like it's a little bit less than a double your money situation. But what I'm saying is that if you're doing, and Bitcoiners get me wrong, I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad. I'm saying if you're trying to get as many X's as you can this cycle, you missed the boat on Bitcoin. If you're making a generational play and you want to hold it for 10, 20 years, Sure, I bought a full Bitcoin for my daughter. She can have it when she's 25. She's only 6 weeks old. She has a little while to go. That's a generational play. So it's not that I don't hold Bitcoin. It's not that I'm against it. I'm just saying that if I was making a portfolio for her for the next 10 to 12 months or whatever, it wouldn't have any Bitcoin in it. But this Bitcoin is specifically for her generational wealth. So I want to be very clear about the parameters of what I'm saying, because people get me wrong sometimes. And let me explain myself, okay? And then there's even more articles here. Going back to Ethereum. Ethereum price set to explode, billion-dollar bet, and bullish charts say yes. Kind of talking about some of the technicals here. Bitmine Immersion Technologies, a firm led by Strats Thomas Lee, announced this week that it has acquired more than $1 billion worth of Ethereum and ETH-linked assets, bringing a new confidence to Ethereum's long-term value proposition. So, guys, not only a sharp link accumulating heavy, we have other, big giant firms here buying billions of dollars worth of Ethereum. This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. This is no joke. Also, just to circle back on the initial stuff, Trump will sign an executive order tomorrow letting $9 trillion in 401ks flow into crypto. $9 trillion. Trillions and billions and trillions and billions of millions. $9 trillion, guys. Holy shit. That's insane. Let's hope that that's for real. That would be insane. Trump will sign an executive order allowing 401k plans to invest in crypto, gold, and private equity. The $9 trillion retirement market will open to alternative assets beyond stocks and bonds. The order directs regulators to remove legal hurdles for professionally managed crypto retirement options. That is super duper bullish. And guys, when I'm telling you about the total crypto market cap, what's it going to take to get from 4 to 5 and from 5 to 10 and from 10 to 20? Stuff like this. Like, just read between the lines on these kinds of stories. I don't want to over explain myself. I think you get the point. But we're so early. I think the too long didn't read of this past 37-minute live stream is that you're early. You're really freaking early. I'm so excited to get all the emails about how much money you guys are gonna make. Man, I can't wait. I love reading that stuff. It's like why I do what I do. And yeah, you gotta give it to Trump. And apparently, here's another article about Donald Trump to reportedly open the doors for those 401ks and IRA markets into crypto. Very bullish on that. And of course, the last article I had pulled was about the other bills that were approved, but I did kind of go over that when I kind of read the details of the from ChatGPT, just to kind of say on the show out loud what it means, what the parameters are, what it means for you, why it's important. And I feel like we already covered that base here. So that's basically all the news we wanted to get into today. Do want to check on the portfolio. I literally did a portfolio video a couple days ago, and I'll tell you, it wasn't sitting at 700 grand then. With the spot bag at 687 grand. Guys, this bag started, I think, 420 in, sitting at almost 690 now. Not bad. Algorand still moving, still leading. Guys, Algorand was not always the biggest bag in this portfolio. Algorand became the biggest bag in this portfolio. I mean, we're up $35,000, average cost 22 cents, account ROI 46%. Not bad on the algo buy there. Big shout out to Algorand. And they got some news today as well. Maybe I'll have time to circle back to that later in the show. And Ondo, guys, I'm still with Ondo. I mean, I'm only up. Okay, I am up a little bit more than I thought. You know why? Because my average cost on one of my other portfolios is 93 cents. I forgot the average cost on this bag was 89 cents. But still, Ondo is only $1.05 right now. And what did I say on the live stream? Literally, I said this on the stream 2 days ago, that anytime I see Ondo under $1, I go, because it's going back to $1. And it did just that. And I think Ondo is going to be a big leader. There is a reason Ondo, of all the coins I like, why Ondo is the second coin in terms of my distribution of my public portfolio. Guys, keep in mind, this is just my public portfolio. This isn't even close to the money I have in all my other private bags. I have so many accounts spread out all over the internet. It's not like this is it, you know, but this is my public bag that I started making for you guys, you know, back in Georgia. So we got Algo, Ondo, HBAR, VET, all over $80,000. So actually right now it's interesting. VET and Hedera are very close to each other. Oh, did not mean to click that. What did I do here? There we go. I wanted to highlight that right now Hedera, we're at 81,000, and we're at VeChain, we're at 81,000. And I think the Hedera caught up to the VeChain in this bag. I'm pretty sure. Yep, we're up 64% on the Hedera, average cost 17. We're up 32 grand on that. And I'm pretty sure the VeChain is, oh yeah, the VeChain is down 1%. That's crazy. That's insane to me that the Hedera in my bag pumped 60% and caught my VeChain at $81,000. HBAR just passed it at 82,000, and I'm down 1% on VeChain. Okay, that means that it's about VeChain's turn because I think if my HBAR bag pumped 61% and I bought them around the same time, and VeChain is that's going to be the one that moves next. So we are going to investigate the VeChain price during the show and that chart. And then just to follow up my thoughts here, we have Jasmy 50K, Arbitrum 40K, ApeCoin 30K. ApeCoin is one that is still cruising around that, you know, that 67, 68 cents. ApeCoin is one that I think is going to have a really big move. I've explained the ApeCoin chart several times this week. Not going to do it today, but ApeCoin is one to watch. Sui 27, Injective 24, Cardano 22, Avalanche 20, Virtual Render, Doge, The Graph, Shiba, FET, Pyth, Near, B3, TARS, Sonic, which used to be Phantom, Optimism, and a little bit of Pump Fund. And $1. One single dollar of Tether in this bag at the moment. So there you go. There's a little overview of my crypto portfolio. Love to see today's P&L up $45,000 today. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm cool with that. I can live with that. Not bad. All right. So let's keep the ball rolling here. I do kind of want to take a quick look at the gainers and the losers today. I always like to just look at that quickly. Just the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, all right, what coins are moving today? What coins can we target today? What's going on? Hedera up big, leader of the day, followed by Flare, XRP, and Algorand. Under that, XLM, Ondo, and then everything else. Those are all the ones up 10% or more. Love to see HBAR moving. Is one of my favorite coins. Always has been. I've been jumping up and down talking about Hedera on this channel, guys. I remember telling you guys to buy Hedera at 4 or 5 cents. 4 or 5 cents. Not bad. Not bad. Very proud of that. And then Pump Fund. This is actually one I'm surprised is down as far as it is. And this is one we talked about for the Telegram group. Oh, I have to find a different pump chart. Pump. Oh, why is it not popping up anywhere? Is there something wrong with my Wi-Fi? That can't be right. Dude, for some reason, every time I search Pump Fund on TradingView, all the listings, it says invalid symbol across the board. It's not on BitGet. Can someone in the chat explain to me why this is happening? It's not even showing up on Coinbase. Can someone tell me why this is happening? That's very strange. I want to look at the chart because I posted it in the Telegram group inside of a conditional range. And we were actually talking about a short for this. Interesting. Okay. I do want to get into the VeChain chart here. All right. So let's keep it rolling. So VeChain, let me pull the volume profile there. CBSI on the 2-day. All right. Okay, very cool. So right now we are looking at a 2-day chart. I know I got to fix it for you guys on VeChain. We did kind of highlight that how Hedera has caught up to VeChain in my large portfolio bag. And on my VeChain, HBAR is up 62%, VeChain's up -1%. That's okay. But I do have, I'm going to postulate here why I believe VeChain is about to have its day in the sun. It's lagged behind before. It has done this before. It's not like VeChain has led altcoins. VeChain is normally one that catches up a little bit later. I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. And let me kind of explain why. So this is a 2-day, and we've gone back on the show and have talked about on the 2-day chart what happens to VET every time it gets above the 50 EMA on the 2-day chart right here, being the main two examples in the past, literally past couple of years on what happens on the 2-day chart when VET gets above the 50 EMA. 217% that time. And from right here, 230%, 227% that time. And this has only happened twice since October of 2023 has VeChain got above the 50 EMA on a 2-day time frame. Okay, very important here. And dual band strength index on Market Cipher has the 2-day chart at a negative 314, where anything above a 14 on the DBSI constitutes as a strong degree of certainty. So we got a good reading there. We've cleared the 50 EMA and have closed above the 50 EMA. What I'd like to highlight with Market Cipher here is that we've had a really deep momentum here, really deep momentum here, and we're pushing back up. And what I want to highlight here is the money flow momentum wave. Let me highlight this in white for you. So right here, the money flow is pushing out, and just now is the money flow back to the 0 line. So that kind of explains to me a little bit the why it has been lagging, because although it pushed up in momentum, it can push up in momentum, but if it's still in the heavy red, it's not going to spring. Where this is why Market Cipher and having the money flow option is such a big deal. But no, I think that VeChain is very close to having its day in the sun, and this historical support resistance level here around 2.8. I think this line's a little bit crooked. 1 second. Yeah, around 278. 0.0278. We have been rejected from this level once in the past couple of days. That seems to be the support resistance level to me. That is kind of going to act as a springboard. And then say we get above that level, my next target would be 3.3, so a little over 3 cents. And that target is 21% above the alarm at 278. All right, so we have a 21% target from 278, and that any VeChain you can get under 278 is big. Any VeChain you can buy under 0.28 is big. Okay, so and then let's also keep in mind that it's not like VeChain doesn't pump. Don't you dare try to tell me that VeChain is a dinosaur dead coin. Okay, right here, bottom to top, September 23 to March 24. In 175 days, VeChain pumped 281%. That wasn't even a real bull market. That was just a run up we had back in 23 and the 24. From November 24 to the local top, the December high, 32 days, it moved 313%. Guys, and this has all happened inside of what I like to call the new way for altcoins, where instead of having like a proper bull market, you have a couple 100% pump, you give it all back, a couple 100% pump, you give it all back, etc. That none of these pumps that we're investigating here constitute, in my eyes, the actual crypto altcoin bull run. These are just kind of like the setup runs in between. You know, and when you kind of consider the fact that, you know, VeChain has been putting in higher highs this entire time, that's really great news. Really great news. All right, so let's consider our current price back to the December high would be 206% from right here. And let's also say, okay, well, we're kind of projecting, you know, September to, you know, the end of this year to be, September to the end of this year to be based off the Bitcoin halving cycle, when we're expecting to see the top. That's kind of what this whole thing has been about. And based off of, you know, I think it could go farther than this, but just based off of the uptrend that's been forming here from the higher highs, that spits VeChain up in this box here, where you could really see it go 300 to 330% which would take you to around 11, somewhere between 10 to 11.5 cents. And I think that that would kind of be a point where you can reflect, but I still don't even really think that would be like the top. I think VEC can go further than that. I really do. I am biased, considering some stuff that I know about, Dana White and how hard he has Sonny's back, and the partnerships involved, and how, in everyone's face VeChain is. I mean, VeChain is a major partner for WWE, UFC, PBR bull riding, Power Slap. Their marketing, I don't think there is a more visible layer one in all of crypto that's not an exchange. Crypto.com has marketing is serious, but I would say VeChain is comparable to that one for it not being an exchange. I'm telling you guys, the fact that it lagged behind kind of excites me more, because you're not kind of putting the parameter of like, oh, well, it pumped 30%. No, you're talking like, oh, like it's lagging. Oh, okay. Yeah, that tells me that I could take some profits from the coins that I just made 50, 60% on and still get VeChain under 3 cents. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. That's where my brain goes. And I'm not kidding. I think VeChain is going to do very well. It was the top 10 performer and I want to be very clear about this, is that when we saw this run right here, this was a top 10 performer out of the top 100 in altcoins in the December run. Top 10. I think it was actually like 7th or 8th. I'll have to double check. But yeah, it's not a dinosaur. I'll tell you that much. I wanted to go back to Ethereum. We did talk about Ethereum a lot during the show. Wanted to hit the chart. After that, we'll look at Cardano. I'm checking the chat here for 1 second. Bit4Fun said, yup, I bought HBAR at 4 or 5 cents. You put it on my radar. You're welcome, bro. I got you. That's what we do here. Bybit has the chart. Okay, I will look at that. It's just weird that it didn't work on any of the charts that I had pulled on it. It didn't pop up at all. Sorry, I don't know of the XCN Onyx coin. I've seen the ticker, but I don't really know much about it. I'm not going to get into it. 151 owner says, love your content, bro. Just curious, Ben Cowan still thinks that we may retrace beginning to mid-August. I mean, maybe. I mean, we could consider that. And what I do here, I'll work that into my analysis on the Ethereum chart. So a couple of things with Ethereum that I've noticed over time, and things that I think will continue to repeat themselves. And I did this kind of breakdown on Ethereum on Twitter a little while ago, kind of highlighting, how Ethereum likes to have these like mini downtrend, breakout, downtrend, breakout, downtrend, breakout. And it has operated across the board like this for, at least in the past couple of years. And what you got to understand about, these run-ups and these givebacks is that it works both ways. And also the fact that this support resistance level right here, this is the big deal for Ethereum at 4,123, 4,123. That is the support resistance level Ethereum needs to get above, because we initiated that level right here, and even look back here, it was kind of very similar. And as we move forward here, rejected, didn't even get to it, rejected from the same point again. And now how far are we under it? We are, about a 19.8, about a 20% pump to get back to that, massive historic support resistance level for VeChain. And we were correct with our analysis with the downtrend breakout from the trend here. How 74 days, Ethereum's up 84% from the trend line breakout that I gave you on Twitter. And I believe I talked about this one in the Telegram group too. But what I also want to say is that it works both ways. And if you were to go, we're at a 2-day chart right now. Also, really quick before I zoom in more, back on the 2-day chart, Ethereum bottom to top. We're talking 146% in 104 days. About 150% in the past 100 days. Not bad. On the 2-day chart, we have not even had the bull cross yet. We're still pending the bull cross. And look at what happened last time Ethereum got a bull cross. Right here. From the day of the bull cross to the top. 135, 136%. We haven't even got the bull cross this time yet. So there's something to be said there for sure. But remember how I said I'm going to a daily chart now. And also I did, looking at Market Cipher here, I did mark the bullish divergence RSI hook. Look at that anchor wave, trigger wave, trigger wave, trigger wave. And that's really what you're looking for. And look what happened. Look what happened with the price right there. That was rock solid analysis right there. Bullish, bullish. It's funny when I see notes, like my old notes on charts, and I'm like, holy shit, totally called that. I'm going to leave that one there. I'm proud of that one. Okay. All right. So, but here on the daily chart, a couple things. So we talked about how, you know, it has the downtrend breakout, downtrend breakout. Well, guess what? It works both ways. It always does. And you can sit here and measure a few different ways to draw, you know, the sharp nature of these uptrends. And then even if you draw from that uptrend to this uptrend, that would serve as a perfect explanation of what I like to call a bump and run. Something I've been talking to the Telegram group a lot lately, how when you see these really sharp moves up here, you know, when you connect the local, you know, resistance points to make a sharp uptrend, you know, when it stopped out here, stopped out here, stopped out here, connecting the lows, making that really sharp move. And then you connect, you know, these other lows that form this other uptrend. Once Ethereum breaks the sharper uptrend, the target becomes the shorter one. Okay. And that across the board has been a very profitable strategy from myself, for myself, that I've been talking a lot more about lately. So moving with that in mind, here is the more recent from the bottom to retest uptrend for Ethereum. And then if you want to say zoom into a 2 hour, okay, and draw kind of the more sharp natured, either if you want to draw it this way, or hell, you could even draw it this way and leave all three. So when you go back to the daily, it kind of looks like this. I can spread it out just a little bit, kind of postulating. So, okay, if Ethereum was to break this uptrend, we could target this uptrend. And if we lose this one, we could target this one. And Ethereum could actually fall somewhere in this little white box right here and technically still be in a macro uptrend. And that would put us around 2,400 to 2,700, depending on when it falls, if it falls. All right. So that is something I really want you guys, for all the coins that have had sharp moves up, I want you to go on a daily or 2 day chart, find the macro uptrend. And then I want you to, on a smaller time frame, find like the more sharp uptrend. And then I want you to find the really sharp uptrend. And it will look something like this, or on a daily chart, or if we go to a 4 hour, it'll look something like this. Let me scooch myself back out here. Okay. And then you'll be able to see where the targets become based off the bump and run ideas for whenever it decides to turn around. I'm not saying this guarantees Ethereum to come down starting today. That's not what I'm saying. When Ethereum retests, this will give us a guideline on how to navigate it. Okay. This is something that I've learned along the way that has become a very profitable strategy for me. I don't mess. The bump and runs are for real. They are for real, for real. And I can point to 1,000 examples on when they work out. All right. But so also, Ethereum did just get a slight rejection here. It, you know, just hit 3,500 and was rejected. So that little wick right there, that would be a long alarm for me, for sure. Make the trend lines yellow. All right. And that would be, it was actually 35,505. Okay. And then I would draw right here. We've had a couple of rejections there. That would be 3,371. So this right here is the, not type that correctly. So this right here is the main current conditional range based off of the local high and local low. It has been ranging inside of this, here, let me get a correct measurement here. So it has been ranging inside of this 3.7% range for the past 19 hours. So nothing too crazy yet. But if Ethereum kind of, the more time Ethereum goes back and forth between here, think of like the rubber band getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And once the range breaks, the move will be harder in either direction. And this is a really big, you know, kind of a testament to my trading strategy, where I'm not really guessing. I don't look at a chart and I go, oh, I think it's going to go up. No, I only trade when an alarm goes off. That's how I trade. I don't guess. I react. That's why I'm so profitable. That's why I've made so much money in crypto. I don't guess. I react. And another thing I want to point out about the Ethereum chart, that if it was to go down 3,098, that is the next big level. Why? Because it didn't really have, see how quickly Ethereum kind of shot up here? Anytime you see that quick move, the first thing my eyes do, they go to the right and they look at the volume profile, which stands. Look, we have this chunk of volume, which is where this range is here. And then underneath of it, we have a big low volume node that cups out to what? The point of control, which actually sits in the middle of this range right here. And similar to my conditional range strategy I literally just talked about, Ethereum spent how much time? It spent 5 days and 2 hours inside of this 6.2% range. So similar to here, you know, so this one here is a 4% range that it's only been in for about a day. But when you see something go sideways for, you know, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days inside of that 5 or 6% range, that's when you know, okay, once we break this local high, we are going. And that's exactly what happened. It literally respected the trend line, bounced, went above the 50 EMA, broke the confirmation, and went to the moon. That is very, very simple technical analysis. There is a time and a place to go down the TA rabbit hole. There is a time and a place to do on-chain analysis. But some of the best trades, the easiest money I've made in crypto is a combination of a few simple concepts. Simple concepts. Support resistance, volume profiles, basic strategy with market cipher, couple other little things. But these types of trades are the ones that you're really looking at, that I'm really gravitating towards, because I'm not trying to force trades. I want the easy trades. I want the trades that make themselves. And this one, so either we can react to the long alarm, we continue. Okay, that's fine. But then say Ethereum ranges here for a little bit, and then it comes down and it comes back down to what? The point of control. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? That would make a lot of sense. And we would probably find itself back in this range. And where would that put it? That would put it back onto this previous trend line, and the bump and run very well might work itself out. And when you think timeline stuff, we might see a retest into August. That might happen. That makes sense. It does. I'm not saying we're at the top. We could keep going before we have a retest. But I will agree with Benjamin Cowan in the just from the basic guideline that if November, October is the top, and we're seeing sharp movements like the Ethereum chart right here. When you see those sharp moves up, you're going to retest from that. You're going to come back down to reality, back to the point of control, or at least to a reasonable, you know, floor or ceiling support resistance level. Considering how hard we pumped in the summer, it does make sense to retest into September, October, have one, maybe, let's hope we get one more chance to buy 20% under the prices now. Let's pray to God. Because once we go back up from here, let's just use Ethereum as the example. Let's kind of zoom out of here, get back to our daily chart. All right, let me zoom this bad boy out a little bit. I know it's a little bit messy considering all the chart graffiti we just did on some of the smaller time frames, but kind of look at the broad strokes of Ethereum here. Like, let's see, how long did it take from the bottom, top to bottom here? 106 days. What about top to bottom here? 118 days. Okay, so it takes about 110 days to get back to from bottom to top. Okay, so let's say if today was the top for whatever reason, and we go 100 days out, what would that put us? That would put us October 22nd. October 22nd. If we went from the bottom to the top, and let's say it takes 100 days, we get to October, bull run. That's the timeline based off the Bitcoin halving cycle. So I agree with Ben to the basic effect that we're likely to see a retest before the real bull run that's projected, that has always been projected based off the Bitcoin halving cycle, sometime October, November. I can agree to that. So what should you do? What you should do, always separate your leverage bag from your spot bag. I am not telling you to sell your spot bag, hope it falls 5 to 10%, and buy back in and jump up to the top. I'm not saying to do that. Absolutely don't do that. I don't jump in and jump out with my spot bag. No. Because I know when I look at the altcoins, when I look at Jasmine, for instance, let me pull my Jasmine chart here. I know that this isn't the high for Jasmine. I know that this isn't the high for Dogecoin, which also just broke out of a big pennant, by the way, on the 2-day chart. I know that this, although it's pretty bullish, when you zoom out, that's not the top for H bar. Absolutely not. So I am not selling now and getting back in later. What I'm doing is that I'm setting the parameters, just like we did on that Ethereum chart. We have the local range, we have our bump and runs, we have our trend lines, and we can determine, okay, well, we can target these shorts. If it starts to retest, we'll know the alarms. We know the targets based off the volume profile, roughly based off the trend lines as well, and previous support resistance. We can get our, use that short money to buy in the altcoins if they retest as well. You use your leverage bag to make money, to buy, and once you make money with your leverage bag from those shorts, you add to your spot bag positions with that money. That's what I do. And that's what we talk about in the Telegram group is, okay? That's literally the deal. Oh, someone just say, hey, AJ, can you please tell us what this grogger is? Grogger is get rich or get wrecked. That's what I live by. That's what I'll probably die by. That's kind of words. That's my thing. I understand that some people don't understand it, or it's kind of, if you've been around, you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is, but it's for get rich or get wrecked. That's my, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's my tagline, man. It's my tagline. All right. Definitely. So yeah, I do want to very quickly, we got 103 likes, 139 people watching. Awesome. Thanks guys for being here. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I got 2 more charts I'm going to cover, but before I do that, I'm going to say smash the like button, become a member. We're not doing a normal live stream tomorrow, but we're doing a members only live stream tomorrow. In the members only live streams, we go over all the setups from the Telegram group. There's a lot of setups from the Telegram group that you guys got this week that we made a lot of money on. So our members only live stream tomorrow, I'll let the group know. If you want to sign up for the Telegram group, send an email to ajalphagroup@gmail.com. Get yourself in that Telegram group. We are fucking printing. If you already sent an email, be patient. We'll get to you. Sometimes we get behind. Sometimes I don't even do the emails. Okay, someone else does, and there's a lot of them. So be patient, please. Also, I do want to give obvious shout out to all my sponsors of this channel. One, Bitunix, where I've been building this absolutely massive portfolio. It continues to grow. This is the best place to build a crypto portfolio, period, and to do leverage trading, in my opinion. So much volume for all the coins here. But I like it so much because, look at my Algorand here. Instead of having to write down with a pen and paper every time I bought Algorand and when I bought it and what the price was when I bought it and using a calculator to determine what the average cost is from all the times I bought it, it'll just tell you, this is how much you've made, this is your ROI, and this is your average cost, just like that. Bitunix is the best place to do this. I'm telling you, it's the literally match made in heaven. If you want to sign up for Bitunix, which is also a requirement with my link, if you want to join the Telegram group, click the link down below. Get yourself on Bitunix. Make it easier to keep track accurately of your crypto portfolio. And hey, leverage trading is a lot easier on a exchange that has a lot more volume than most. Big shout out to Bitunix, big sponsor of the channel. I also want to say big shout out to Decrypted Tax. I just did an interview yesterday with my good friend Ernest Lee, fellow member of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Guys, I'm not a crypto tax professional. I don't like talking about crypto taxes because everyone's kind of confused about it. All right, so you should just hire a crypto tax professional to do this for you. His 1-year plan starts at $120. It gets more than that depending on how many transactions you do, but it starts at $120. It could be like $500 or $600 if you have over 10,000 transactions or something like that. It's not that bad. It's actually very inexpensive. Get your crypto taxes done by someone that knows what they're doing. Ernest is like a walking encyclopedia. Very smart guy. If you want to learn more, watch the video that I just put out on the channel yesterday. Really smart, really great video about the truth about crypto taxes. And actually, if you will watch that video and schedule a free consultation with him, you might save yourself thousands of dollars because you might not be aware of all the things that you could be writing off that you're not writing off because you don't know the know-how. Get it done by a professional. Have it looked over. Big shout out to Ernest at Decrypted Tax. Also, big shout out to Suede AI. Suede AI is revolutionizing music, and blockchain together. Basically, the music industry is full of leeches, full of just disgusting grossness. I used to be a touring musician, and I got out of it because it's impossible to make money in the music industry, even if you are in a signed band, which I was. But the record labels make all the money. The record labels just leech from you. They even get into your t-shirt sales. You got to be really careful with your contracts. It's disgusting. And this is kind of revolutionizing that by eliminating the middleman, where you can make a record label, your own record label, with one click. You could write an entire song with a single prompt on AI. And this is empowering artists to own their music and make all the money from their music using crypto, using AI. This project is really smart. Definitely extremely interesting, especially if you're a musician like myself. Definitely check out Suede AI. I did an interview with Jonathan from them a little while back, I think a week or two ago. Really solid. And we're also going to do another follow-up where we literally write a song using simple prompts with AI. Big shout out to Suede AI. Solid project. And I think that, it's one of those ones where, it could go either way in terms of the coin, but like the coin isn't my focus here. Like my focus is like actually helping artists not get stuck in the record label Pandora box. That's what I'm saying. It's really more about the artists for me. And that's why I align with this project. And they're really good people. I do want to say that big shout out to Polymarket, another sponsor of this channel, becoming a larger sponsor of this channel. I'm so excited about my relationship with the people at Polymarket. Really great people. I have a weekly show called No Sweat Bets that I'm actually going to film after this live stream, where I'm going to talk about all of the big decisions that I think are bullish. It's kind of hard to talk Polymarket when there's not the NBA happening, when there's not, the NHL playoffs, and there's not a fight. It's hard to talk about it all the time, but there are some things right now that are pretty sweaty bets. I'm not going to lie. So stay tuned. And I did win the bet for who was going to win the World Series of Poker main event. I made my bet before the final table started and was correct. And Michael Mizrahi or something like that. I've heard of him before, and he just made the World Series of Poker Hall of Fame. So big congratulations to him as well. So yeah, we've definitely had a solid run on Polymarket, and we had such a solid run on Polymarket. They sponsored the channel. So that's amazing. So I'm very grateful for them. And, I think really at the end of the day, some people kind of misconstrued the gambling. Oh, you're just going to gamble. Go gamble. You're just go gamble. Well, like, dude, fuck you. You know what I mean? Because like, it's a risk. You take risk, just like crypto. You buy Bitcoin, you buy Ethereum, you buy Algorand, you enter a leverage trade. You're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. Playing poker, taking a risk. Betting $120,000 on the Eagles for the Super Bowl, that's a risk. And like, I think when you go gambling, that's just you putting it in a box because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. People that are professional risk takers, myself, I have the millions to prove it. It happens because you look at it all the same mentally. Upstairs, a Polymarket trade, a Polymarket position, a poker hand at a 5-10 table, or a crypto trade, leverage or spot, it's all the same to me. It's just a risk. And the people that are really good at taking risks, that know when to go hard, when to lay off, and when to just kind of dibble dabble, those are the people that are going to win. So don't just gamble. No, learn how to take risk, and maybe you won't be complaining on the internet. Because I don't know any people who are really rich who complain on the internet ever, like ever. The complainers tend to be the losers, and work on your mental diet. How about that? And Polymarket's amazing, dude. It's seriously amazing. They rock. What time is the members only? I haven't totally decided yet. It might be, but the thing is, I like doing my live streams at 3 on the West Coast because the people getting off on the East Coast at 6 o'clock can watch the stream too. But I don't like doing them at 3 on Fridays because that's like Friday night for the East Coasters. So I try to do members only 1 p.m. Fridays, my time, but with the baby, it's kind of hard to do it at 1 p.m. because that's like lunchtime. So I'm going to aim for 1 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. But if it's after that, I'll tell you in the Telegram group exactly what time, but it's likely going to be around 1 o'clock. Is there more merch coming out? Yes, we've been talking about it. We are gambling on Polymarket today. We are, for sure. That video will be coming out. Risk it for the biscuit. That's what's all. RL, $20 super chat. Algo fam, algo analysis. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to, I'm gonna save the Cardano and do Algorand, and then we'll do Cardano tomorrow. Okay. And we did really go over Algorand yesterday, but you did just send a $20 super chat, so I tend to honor the super chats. So generally speaking, Algorand, and we literally talked about this yesterday, where anytime Algorand is at 16 cents, 16 cents is the springboard for Algorand, this blue line right here. It started back with the support resistance level back here. And as you can see, 16 cents, boom, retest to what? 16 cents, boom, comes under, goes to 16 cents, boom. Where is it retest to? 16 cents, boom. Oh, we're back to 16 cents, boom. You get my point. Every time it goes to 16 cents, you win. You win. And I've been saying that literally, guys, since right here. I have said this every single time. This pump, 62%. This pump, 113%. This pump, it goes up so far, it's not even in my screen, above 250%. This pump, 65%. This pump so far, 110%. And I've called every one of these. Every single one. I have the receipts. I've been here, been doing this for a long time. All right. So we established that 16 cents is the go time. All right. But now we're at 32 cents. We already doubled from there. So now what? Moving forward. Well, now what yesterday is we talked about this range right here with Algorand. And it's actually extremely important to talk about this range for a couple of reasons. The volume profile is out too far for it to matter. But so Algorand, so this range right here, the bottom of this range is this alarm right here, 25.4. That's the yellow. And this next alarm, which is now probably going to become a short alarm at 30.06. 306. Algorand doesn't like to spend time in this range. See how it quickly comes up, quickly comes down, quickly comes up, quickly comes down. And then right here, it just shot through it. It like barely spent any time there. And even on the way back down the hill, it just kind of flips through this range. And where did it get rejected? That top of that range. And look how many days we didn't spend any time in this range at all. How quickly did Algorand come through here? I mean, from that candle to this candle, what? 4 days? 4 days? And that was, a lot of the analysis yesterday, basically saying that, yeah, we're going to continue at the minimum to the top of this range at 30 cents. And if we get rejected at 30 cents, that sucks. If we go past 30 cents, that's really where the party starts. Because, someone was talking to me in this live stream yesterday about the flag. And here was the flag. And then here was the confirmation for the flag. We broke through the flag, broke through there. Boom, we're gone. I do want you to be aware. I can now get rid of the flag. The flag is no longer mattering. I do want you to be aware of this very, very sharp uptrend. And this will kind of be your guide for this Algorand pump. Because, I mean, really, the implications of a bump and run here are really scary because there's not much of another trend line. And this is like a really wide fan here. You see what I mean? So we really would like to see Algorand continue, or even if it like kind of pops up and just sideways ranges and doesn't like come all the way back to the bump and run. That's just what we like to see. And another thing that is kind of freaking me out, if we look just at Market Cipher, okay, we had anchor wave, trigger wave. We need this momentum wave on the day on this is a 4-hour chart. I would like to see this 4-hour chart momentum wave go past. We don't want this one to red dot here and fall over, or that will be local high for now. If this momentum wave, if you look at it here, it makes a lot of sense because the bearish divergence actually started here, right here, because this momentum wave is higher than this one. And so bear div, scoop, and then if this one is lower and this is the top, that's going to be the local high. But it doesn't have to be. It really, what happens with this current 4-hour momentum wave is kind of the determination for me for locally with Algorand. It easily could continue. Don't get me wrong. It easily could continue. And what are you really going to be looking for to go either way? I mean, anytime you're in a point of continuation like now, it's kind of impossible to say if it's going to keep going up or down in the next 4 or 8 hours or whatever. But what I can say broad strokes is that this alarm right here, 30 cents, that's a short alarm. If Algorand goes into the 29s, that's a short alarm because this little box right here is kind of ranging from 29 to 27 cents. So if you go under 30, you're kind of looking at that range and then the bottom of this range, really 25.3. So if you were to zoom in on like a 12-minute chart, you could kind of just continue a little bit here. If you want to, you could even use this little baby local uptrend here, okay? And if you want to really scalp this, you could go from this alarm, and then you could set local high. And this is, this is scalp level shit, because it's currently in a 2.4% range in the past 4 hours. So that is the current range. So if you want to scalp trade Algorand, which you can, there's plenty of volume for it on Bitunix. And then you could even go to the top of this one here. So this would be my 3 scalp alarms: 3166, 3208, 3295. Those would be my main scalp alarms for Algorand. The 4-hour momentum wave really is going to be the determination on when local high gets printed. Easily could continue though. Easily could continue. And let me finish why it easily could continue. Because I have always said that it does not like spending time in this range. Okay. And I would really like to see it get above this high. All right. And this is kind of where it went to and has been rejected at 33.22. That level has been a pain in the ass for Algorand to get above. And that is kind of perfect floor, ceiling, support, resistance from these rejections right here. So it's got out of this box and it got above this high, which is really good. But we need to clear 33 cents to really make an argument for if this is going to be like that December type of continue. Because if you really look at, let me just go to a clean Algorand chart here. If you really look at, we're on that one. Yeah, if you really look at just the price chart, no market cipher, no nothing, and you kind of consider the similarities between this pump here, which was 30 days, 485%, and this pump here, 24 days, 111%. And a lot of the legwork with this uptrend, when did the God candle get printed? Daily chart, when did the God candle get printed? Right here. Right here. And where are we? Right there. That's where we are. We are literally at the same level the God candle got printed. And just for the sake of clarity, what was this candle? Top to bottom, bottom to the top of the wick. It was a 43% candle on a fucking daily chart. So when I'm telling you the momentum wave on the 4-hour could print a bear div, this will either be the local top or it's just going to go back. So I'm really not trying to jump in or out with my spot bags. Like I said, I will be carefully monitoring scalp levels with this one. Just considering this is kind of the launch pad it has had before, but this is also the exact point where we've been rejected before. And it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. It does have so much bullish behind it. A lot of momentum, a lot of bullish. I'm not going to sit here and guess. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to sit here and guess. But I'm going to tell you, this is like where you need to alarm up and react to scalp levels. This is where you really got to zone in and sit in front of your computer for hours and hours and watch this happen, or at least alarm up and react to the alarms going off. That's how I would play this. I'm not touching my spot bags because we know what can happen from this point. That can happen. So let's hope history repeats itself. But at the same time, it's still July. We are still early in terms of the timeline. But guys, with all that said, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the super chat, RL. You guys are amazing. We're going to pick up members only live stream tomorrow. Please smash the like button on your way out the door. And guys, everybody, go sign up for the Tesla Model 3 giveaway. We are giving away a damn Tesla, ladies and gentlemen, like a whole ass Tesla. It is $42,490. If you don't want the car, we'll give you the money. It's that simple. We're giving away a Tesla. Someone in this audience is going to win a Tesla in 23 days. I hope it's you. That's all I got. Smash the like button. Go sign up for that giveaway. Have a safe rest of your day. I'll see you all members for the members only tomorrow. Guys, become a member of this channel. The people that have become members of this channel and signed up for the Telegram group, those are the people that are making so much money right now. Some of the emails I've got, the DMs I got in the past couple of days, shout out to the groggers who paid attention, because those are the ones that are making real money right now. And if that's not you, it can become you. Start paying attention, start focusing on crypto, start studying crypto like your life depends on it, because it does. That's all I got. Get rich or get wrecked. Peace.